So, hello, and thank you guys for being with us today on Acorn Life Mastery's YouTube channel. And I have the very distinct pleasure of talking to one of our family members. This is Lori Vaughan. She is a coach for speakers and amazing. And I'm so happy to be able to introduce her to you guys and get the opportunity to share her with you. So, thank you for being here today, Lori.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm excited. I'm excited to. I mean, I know a little bit about you because we've been doing some things together for a while. But tell me about yourself. Tell me kind of how you got started doing what you do, doing your
Ah,
magic.
well, it goes back a number of years because I'm no spring chicken, but I had worked for a thought leader for over 15 years, and I was her Girl Friday. So she is not only a speaker and author, and just a great message that she was creating. So I learned the business under her. And back in 2017, she decided to sell her company, which meant there was no need for me anymore. And that was 3 weeks before Christmas, just before my 60th birthday. So, needless to say, corporate America doesn't want a 60-year-old employee. So, I started my own company. And from there, I got involved in masterminds and mentors and things like that. And so what I do is I not only support established speakers, authors, and podcasters, but I help mentor what I call the newbies, those that need my help in creating their foundational materials, their marketing, even creating their signature talk and their PowerPoints and everything. So that's what I do now. And I help them raise their visibility within social media and grow their business.
Awesome. That sounds like you meet a lot of different people too. Then
I
hear a lot
do.
of different
It's very,
stories.
very interesting. Every day is different. And, I love coming to work each day. So, yeah, it's great.
It helps when you love what you do, right?
Doesn't it, though? It really does. And I had gotten to the point where it was just very much, you know, same old each day. And so this was scary at first, but I think now it's actually the best thing that ever happened to me. So, so there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what is it that made you decide to become a founding member of Acorn Life Mastery? What drew you?
What drew me actually was Adam and the fact that I love his heart. I had been involved in some masterminds with him. And when he decided to create this community, I said I would do whatever he needed me to do to make it successful. Um, but on a selfish reason, it's because I actually love masterminding, and not only for my own benefit, but through my process of going through my vision and creating my plan, it became very obvious to me that all my life I have been a mentor. I love it. My kids tell me it's just because I like to tell people what to do. but
A little bit more
but
than that, right?
it is so it's just so much fun to when you create something with someone and you see the light bulb go off, right? And I just get excited when I can help somebody do that.
So,
So that's
since you
fun.
had been in masterminds before, and since you had done visioning exercises before, what was your experience with the 7 Why exercise that he has created?
What was interesting, I also need to preface that I am probably one of the least woo-woo people on the planet. So for me to go deeper and deeper and deeper was an interesting and first time really experience for me to go into the why. But it really did boil down to the mentoring aspect. And I truly believe that the mastermind is a time where it's a safe environment to bring up the issues that you're having and have help from other people in the group that may be a few steps ahead of you, or in saying, oh, this is something that I'm facing now. even someone 2 steps behind you can go, ooh, I need to steer clear from that, or, oh, that's great. Thank you for letting me know that. It's a time when you can gain information for yourself, but also help others at the same time. So my gosh, what a win-win.
right? And I think this, I know, like as a parent, we tell our children learn from other people's mistakes, right? And even from my heart's son, he was in his 20s before he came to live with us, and I used to ask him, "So what did you learn from that, son?" And he's like, "Well, you're not going to tell me I did something stupid." No, I'm going to ask you, what did you learn from it? Because I really believe if you don't learn the lesson, you're going to repeat it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so it's so even today he'll say, "Okay, mom, this is what I learned."
Well, isn't that
Good,
great? That shows what an amazing person he is to learn that. Because many of us, especially in the situation itself, it's like, don't point out to me that I screwed up. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I screwed up. But you have to take that and just look at it when you've gotten over the anger part, or get out of the situation, take yourself out a couple of steps to be able to see it. um so good on him that he now says that, because
well, and
there
I
is no such thing as failure unless we
right.
give up, unless we give up.
Well, and I like how you prefaces that with the mastermind. So we, you're being led and you're guiding, and it's that give and take and that harmony, right,
Mhm.
that comes into play. And I love, like, our tagline for Acorn Life Mastery is that we leverage accountability masterminds to develop future leaders. And that leveraging that accountability of that mastermind is so crucial, I think, for people to really get where they want to go, because sometimes we can all get tied down in planning out what we're going to do.
Mhm.
Or like I know when I started working with Adam, the planning and the doing aren't the same thing, but sometimes we get them confused,
Very true.
you know.
Like,
And so
yes,
that
you
was really
can make a
cool,
whole plan, but if you don't put it into action, you're not going to get anywhere. It's sort of
right?
like the law of attraction is kind of useless if you don't have some action taking place at the same time. You
Right.
know,
You don't have to always. You have to be willing to do. You don't always have to do though, but you have to put that momentum into. You can't sit there on the couch and dream about getting
yes,
something.
exactly.
You know.
Exactly. It's sort of like the old joke where, God, why didn't you let me win the lottery? And God looks at him and goes, Joe, you had to at least go buy a ticket. You have to do
Little
your part.
actions.
You have to do your part. So,
Yeah, it
yeah,
makes a difference. So, what is your right now? What's your monthly goal that you're currently working on?
I'm not based on money. I've reached a certain level in my life, and just being in my 60s, um, I don't have a huge nut to crack. So it's really not about that. I've really come to the realization it's much more about impact. And I want to impact my speakers in really helping them develop their message and get it out to the world. So that's really where I'm about. I do all the different things that need to be done to create the business development and things along that line. But for me, it's not necessarily a money figure. It's more of how many people have I touched this month? And for me, I like to at least talk to 10 people a month in depth, not just hey, can we connect on LinkedIn? It's really connecting. And I try to do 4 a week, but I'm happy with 10 a month, especially now as we're getting into the holidays and everything. People have other priorities right now. Um, but the beauty of being involved in the masterminding process this year could have been so horrendous, but in actuality, even though I support speakers who no longer have stages to speak from, my business grew. So because we looked at other things,
Right.
I opened up the other possibilities, And that comes from masterminding and talking to other people and getting their insights. And, it could be someone that has nothing to do with speaking, but they heard somebody, so you just need to be open to listening to all the different possibilities that come your way.
I think they're so important, because the one thing that I find is that a lot of times we get so blinder effect on that we don't. I mean, it's one thing about having a blinder effect when you're working on something and this is your goal and being focused and having that kind of blinder. But when you have the blinders on that takes away all those other possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you limit yourself.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and I've
Exactly.
heard the same thing from a lot of people that this time frame, even though it's been a long year and it's been so different, but it's actually helped a lot of people's businesses because it's actually forced them to step outside of their boxes.
Most definitely. Well, and God knows I'm here in Los Angeles, so we don't get to leave our houses at all. So, I mean, I work probably 6.5 days, a week. It's once in a while I'll take a whole day off to veg, but that doesn't happen very often. I just keep plugging away. And that, as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to realize that that is the world of an entrepreneur. It's not this 9 to 5, see you later, I'll see you tomorrow kind of, environment. So with COVID, it actually just made me focus more. Although I do want to go out to dinner so bad, but that's not going to happen
Well, it just
for a while.
I did my I was listening to Rascal. My last Friday was my day, and I listened to it was by Lori Woodward, and her thing was leading by design, not by default.
Mm,
And she talked about relationships and making that connection with people, and that was what I did my talk on about how can you connect with people, because it's so much you can't do right now. They're not allowing us to go out or do this or do that. So it's like, yeah, okay, so you have these, like for me talking on Zoom, it was really hard for me to get used to looking at the camera and not at the so now what I do is I move the picture underneath the camera. So
well, and that's what I do too. It's like you are big on my screen and I'm just a little picture up at the top, so that I'm not looking at myself. Thank you very much. And but I still look down at the person I'm talking to, because that's how I have to communicate. So if sometimes it doesn't look like I'm looking straight at the camera, it's because I'm not. you know, I'm not the speaker. I'm the detail person behind the scenes, and I love being behind the scenes.
well, and it's important when you're making that like you said, you making that connection, making that difference,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
So that is like so important. So what is there anything else that you would really want to share with our viewers, or any tips or anything that we'd like to give?
Well, I would just say, no matter if you want to become a speaker or if you just have your own business, social media is where business is being done right now. But you need to know who your ideal client is. So as you really go in and decide who is that ideal client for you, then you need to find out where they're playing in their social media and go from there. My company, I'm on all of them, with the exception of TikTok. I'm sorry, just not doing videos. So, but I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. And so you do need to be playing in the social media field to raise your visibility.
And that can be that can, if you organize yourself, can be done pretty smoothly from what I understand.
Exactly. Exactly. It can be done very, very simply. Although I do have a graphics person. I create the content, but the graphics are all done by somebody else. I spend a day figuring out the week's content, and then I boom, hand it over, and she does all the rest. So
Cool.
yeah, makes it nice.
Delegation is a good thing.
It is a good thing. It is a very good thing. We cannot scale ourselves.
Well,
So
and I know we talked earlier, and you did say you are going to be doing a free. webinar workshop for the Acorn community. So for those who are watching this, that's going to be in December on the 16th. So if you're not part of our community yet, please make sure there'll be a link on the description of the video. Please join the community. And then, Gloria, do you have a website that people could find out more information about you,
Sure.
or?
Sure. It's www.lvsconsultingservices.com. So it's just my initials, Lorianne Vaughan-Speaks. So that's me.
Awesome.
Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to have a conversation, free consultation, no problem.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being part of Acorn. I'm so glad you decided to be part of our membership.
Oh, most
Love
definitely.
it. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. Like this if you don't mind. If you love it, share it with somebody, and just hit that notification button so you know when we're going live. And again, thank you, and thank you, Lorianne. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
The one thing about recording it